येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदाम्यहं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद।
Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। थैंक यू सो मच।
Hare Krishna. So, continuing our study and discussion from the 8th chapter. This chapter is entitled How Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring about so many questions. A whole range of questions, not just on creation. How did the Jiva, who is spiritual, he attains a body which is material? Then both the Lord and the Jiva assumes the body, but what is the specific difference between them? Brahma appears from the navel of the Lord. Is his body similar to the body of the Lord? Very rational question. Where does the master of the illusionary energy, Karno Dakshai Vishnu, lie? Then he is inquiring about the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. So what is the essential difference between the two? So many philosophers, those who are ill-informed, they consider the Jiva and the Supreme to be the same. But here, Parikshit Maharaj is putting forth so many questions and bringing the difference. The answers will be there in the next canto. In the third canto, we will receive the answers. Then now he is questioning about Kala, the time span, the lifespan, and the various activities, the karma which are performed by the living entity. So he talks about the creation and the annihilation of the universe. What is the lifespans of humans? What is the lifespans of demigods? What is the destination achieved by one's fruitive activity, karma? And how various activities leads to different bodies in their future spans. So all this series of questions, so many questions, such perfect inquiry is being made here in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam by Maharaj Parikshit. Please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directors of the heaven, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the river, the seas, and the islet, as well as the different kind of inhabitants takes place. Very interesting. Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reaction resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from demigods down to the more insignificant creatures. So how one gets the body of demigod humans, what kind of reaction he receives from the action he performs. That is the chain victimization of the karma cycle. So on and so forth. So many questions are being inquired. So we have done till 16th. Pradeep, till 16th? Please also describe the inner. Yes?
15th रुक जा, 15. 16th today.
Acha, 16th is today. So the 15th was okay about the universe, about the creation, how different varieties of land, different water bodies, sky, so many planets, stars, all the galaxies, how these are manifested. And what is the consciousness? He says there is a great plan behind the arrangement, great plan of the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Parikshit requests the great sage Sukadeva Goswami to explain all these subjects authoritatively in accordance with proper understanding. So this chapter is entitled Questions by the Parikshit Maharaj. Questions by Parikshit Maharaj. And there is one chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam which says that Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer to all the questions. So any and every question that can come in a sane mind about creation is already being inquired in Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Shukadeva Goswami. And still it is not over. His series of questions continues. So we see further 16th verse. Pramanam andakoshasya bhaya abhyantara bhedata mahatam chanucharitam varnashram vinishchaya. Please also describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls. Mahatam cha anucharitam. The characteristics of activities of great souls, Mahatmas, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the caste and orders of social life. The word is Varnashram Vinishchaya. So, such a wide range of question. In one question, he is encompassing such big, topics. First, he is inquiring in the same question, the pramanam, extent and measurement of this universe, the outer space and the inner space, and their bhedata. What are the divisions, various divisions? Then, Mahatmanu Charitam, the characteristics and activities of the great souls. How many great souls are there? Unlimited. Then further, not to leave anyone, he is also inquiring Varnashram Vinishchaya. Also, please describe the classification of the caste and orders of social life. Maharaj Parikshit is a typical devotee of Lord Krishna. What it means to be a typical devotee? As much as he is anxious to know the complete significance of the creation of the Lord. This is what it means to be a typical devotee. That is, inquiry is unlimited. He wants to know the complete significance of the creation of the Lord. He wants to know the inner and outer spaces of the universal form. It is quite fitting for the soul, for the real researcher of knowledge, to know all about this. Those who are of the opinion that the devotees of the Lord are satisfied with mere sentiments can find in the inquiries of Parikshit Maharaj good lessons as to how inquisitive a pure devotee is to know things in their true perfection. This is the kind of inquiry which is being made by a person who is on the verge of death. He is not asking, how can I escape death? Or what life will I get after this death, after leaving this body? He is more interested to know that how my Lord and Master, he creates this entire universe. So that means he is completely beyond his self-obsession. He is not obsessed on the self. Understanding is not considering himself to be the body. He is completely free, or he is above the bodily attachment. Otherwise, the absorption will be in the body. But he is inquiring. So Prabhupada is writing here that those who are of the opinion that the devotees of the Lord are satisfied with mere sentiments can find in the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit good lessons as to how inquisitive a pure devotee is to know things in that true perfection. Many times when we share Shastra and we are always asking, is there any question? Is there any inquiry? And there is none. That is not a good sign. That is not a sign of someone who is really inquisitive. One who is inquisitive will further inquire to know more and see the extent or the depth of inquisitiveness that is there in the heart of Maharaj Parikshit. And it is known, it is very important when the speaker, he invites question. By the question, he can know what is the consciousness of the person who is hearing. To what extent he has received the message. If there is no question asked, then that is very difficult to assess how much is the understanding. And with this questions, one can know to what extent is Maharaj Parikshit is absorbed in the subject matter, to what Shukdev Goswami is speaking. The modern scientist is unable to know about the inner space of the universal horizon and what to speak of the space which covers the universe. Maharaj Parikshit is not satisfied with only material knowledge. He is inquisitive about the character and activities of the great souls, the devotees of the Lord. The glories of the Lord and the glories of his devotees combined together comprise the complete knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very beautiful statement. The glories of the Lord and the glories of the devotee combined together comprise the complete knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first 9 cantos speaks about the glories of the devotees of the Lord. And after one has sufficiently appreciated, admired, and acknowledged the glories of the devotees, then there is possibility to enter into the realm of the glories of the Supreme Lord, not otherwise. Lord Krishna showed his mother the complete universal creation within his mouth, while she, completely charmed by her sir, wanted to look inside the mouth of the Lord just to see how much earth the child had eaten. By the grace of the Lord, the devotees were able to see everything in the universe within the mouth of the Lord. The very idea of the scientific division of 4 classes of human society and 4 orders of life is also inquired about herewith on a basis of individual personal quality. The 4 divisions are exactly like the 4 divisions of one's personal body. The parts and parcels of the bodies are non-different from the body. But by themselves, they are only parts. That is the significance of the whole scientific system of 4 caste and 4 spiritual orders. The value of such scientific division of human society can be ascertained only in terms of the proportionate development of devotional service to the Lord. Very important. Prabhupada is saying, the value of such scientific division of human society can be ascertained only in terms of the proportionate development of devotional service to the Lord. Others cannot have access or understanding. Any person employed in government service, including the president, is part and parcel of the entire government. Everyone is a government servant, but no one is the government himself. That is the position of all living entities in the government of the Supreme Lord. No one can artificially claim the supreme position of the Lord, but everyone is meant to serve the purpose of the Supreme Whole. Yugani yugamanam cha dharmo yascha yuge yuge avatara anucharitam Yad Ashcharyatamam Hare. Rather big question, very big question. Please explain all the different ages in the durations of the creations. What are the different ages? At least four. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. And also the duration of each such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. Although it has been already discussed. But further he wants to know, he is encompassing the sum total, everything. So all the avatars, the Yuga avatars and mainly this is the different activities of different incarnations in different ages. These are all Yuga avatars. In different ages, so he is now inquiring about the Yuga avatars. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, although non-different from him, are emanations from the Supreme. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from the great and learned says Sukadeva Goswami about the different activities of such incarnations, so that the incarnations of the Lord might be confirmed by his activities in the authoritative scriptures. Maharaj Parikshit was not to be carried away by the sentiment of the common man to accept an incarnation of the Lord very cheaply. Instead, he wished to accept the incarnation of the Lord by the symptoms mentioned in the Vedic literatures and confirmed by the Acharya like Sukadeva Goswami. This is the way to accept. It has to be substantiated in the scriptures and it is to be promulgated by the current Acharya. The Lord descends by his internal energy without any obligation to the law of material nature. And thus his activities are also uncommon. The specific activities of the Lord are mentioned. One should know that the activities of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical due to being on the absolute plane. Thus, to hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly. That is the power and potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. To hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly. And the association of the Lord directly means purification from material contamination. We have already discussed this point in the previous canto. Where did we discuss this point in the previous canto? That to hear about the Lord means to associate with the Lord. There is no difference between the glories of the Lord and the association of the Lord, which Prabhupada says we have discussed this already in the previous canto. Where in the previous canto it was discussed? Which verse? Bolo? Quickly. You should remember these are very nectarine purports of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, where will be that confidence and faith? Bolo? Bolo, Ramya?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी सर्वथा स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तन
यस क्या हो गया तुम्हारी आवाज को? सुबह तो सही थी.
जी प्रभु जी.
Have hot water, garam pani piyo. Yes, one is Shanvatam Swakatha Krishna. Others? Other examples? We have done so many verses on hearing. What are the other verses? बोलिए। You don't remember? We have done so many verses. Yes, Sonika, बोलिए।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And the verse was Sranvatam Swakatha Krishna Kirtanam.
That is what she said. She has already said that verse. There's a famous verse. There's a series of verses. There are so many others we have done.
Prabhuji, one more is there. Nast Prayeshu Abhedreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya.
Yeah,
Bhagavati Uttama
true.
Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nist.
Yes, this is in the continuation to what Shanvatam Swakatha Krishna. Yes. There are so many others, so many verses. Manoram Prabhu, please open 1551. 11551. Okay, wait a minute. There are two answers from Ravinder Prabhu and Priyanka. Boliye.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी अस्मानुभवम् अखिलश्रुतिसारम् आध्यात्मदीपम् अतितीर्थं तम अन्धम् आध्या सांसारिणां करुणया पुराणगेहम् तुम व्यास सूनु उपयामि गुरुं मुनीनाम्.
Yeah, but what is the theme in this?
Association with the Lord directly.
Where?
इसमें वो glorification of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
It is glorification of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but where it is saying that to hear means to directly associate with the Lord. This is talking about the glory that this Srimad Bhagavatam is Akhil Shruti Saram. Is the Adhyatma Deepam. It removes the dense darkness which is there in the heart. Yeah. What we're talking. Okay, yes, Sonika, you have.
Yes, Prabhuji, one more was there. Shanvanti Gayanti Grinanti Avikshnasa
Sadhavar. Yes.
Smananti Nananti Tavehita Jana.
Taeva
Taeva
Pashyanti.
Pashyanti
Achirena.
Achiren Tavaka. Prabhuji.
Okay, yes. This is beautiful verse by Srimati Kunti Devi. Bhava Pravaho Padambujam. Yeah. Okay, but this purport is not there in that verse. It talks about those who are, pure-hearted. So they rejoice in these activities of Shanvanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, Bhikshnasa. Okay, what are the other verses that is specifically mentioned here in the purports? That to hear about Srimad Bhagavatam and to hear about Lord and to hear the glories of the Lord means to directly associate with the Lord. When we are coming across these verses, then we should, at least try to register them. We should note them in our verses folio. I've said, everyone should have your shloka book. Bolo Ramya, you're raising your hand?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
हाँ
Prabhuji,
बोलिए.
pibanti bhagavato atmano satam
No,
kathamrita.
that is true. That is true. But this is not saying this. What the commentary is it saying? Show me. Where it is, I'm talking specifically what is mentioned in this, that to hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam or to hear the glories of the Lord means to associate with Him directly. There are many verses in Prabhupada is mentioning this. At least mention one or two. When you will do search, you will find so many. Yes, Sonika? Acha. Bring down your
And
hand.
no, Prabhuji, that verse was there which we discussed last. Taiva Pashyanti Achirena Tavaka means Achiren. You explained that, Prabhuji,
Yatta
without
eva
any delay.
pashyanti achirena. So one can, achieve, one can attain the Supreme Lord without delay. Prabha pravaho paramam padam bhujam. One who has taken shelter. One can achieve the Supreme Lord. That is true. By this process of Shanvanti, Gayanti, Grihananti, Abhikshnasa, Smarnanti, Nandanti, Tavahite Jana. Tayeva Pashyanti, Achirena Tav. Pashyanti also means to see. Okay, let us see this verse. Let us see the purport. This is 1:8, I think 33 or 34. Open. Manora. There's so many other Satam Prasanga Mamavir Samvido Bhavanti Hitkan Rasayan Katha Tajjoshana Dasu Upavarg Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhakti Ranu Pramarshati. Very famous verse 3:25-25. Okay, you first saw this verse 1:8-30. Just find out this verse. Shanvanti Gayanti Grihananti Abhikshnasa. What is the number of this verse? 1:8. 36. 1:8-36. Yes. Come down. Bhava Pravaho. Bhava Pravaho means that the repetition of birth and death will be stopped. Why? Because one has taken to your lotus feet. Upaharam. The cessation of Bhava Pravaha, the current of birth and the death. Okay. Show the translation, Prabhu. Come down. Those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna cannot be seen by a present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing different conditions of life, full of spontaneous love of Godhead. When Sri Krishna was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsaha, Jarasandha and Shishupal were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it is not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with, why don't you come down so that I can read? Beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are the generally heard, chanted, repeated, etc. by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord face to face. The reason is that, yes, this is good. To see the Lord face to face. The reason is that the first item, Shravan, is very important. If the hearing is from the right source, it acts very quickly. Generally, people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized person may be very learned by academic qualification, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service, hearing from them becomes a sheer waste of time. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes become automatically perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealing with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwarka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealings of the Lord. But sometimes people in the unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealing with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulge in such hearings. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scripture. That will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. One should not therefore consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane. This does not speak about it. Not in so clear a term. You open this one, 115:51. This talk about Pandavas and this talk about hearing, but it talks about that when he's hearing, he is associating with the Lord. 115:51. Yeah, very beautiful verse. Ya Shraddhaye de tad bhagavata priyanam Pandu sutanam iti samprayanam Shnoti alam swastayanam pavitram Labdva haro bhaktim upeti siddhim. So the translation. The subject of the departure of the sons of Pandus for the ultimate goal of life back to Godhead is fully auspicious and is perfectly pure. Therefore, anyone who hears this narration with devotional faith certainly gains the devotional service of the Lord, the highest perfection of life. Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration about the personality of Godhead and the devotees of the Lord, like the Pandavas. This is the question. This is what Parikshit is asking. That please speak about the great souls. The narration of the personality of Godhead and his devotees is absolute in itself. And thus to hear it with devotional attitude is to associate with the Lord and constant companions of the Lord. This is clear. To hear with devotional attitude is to associate with the Lord and constant companions of the Lord. By process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can attain the highest perfection of life, namely going back home, back to Godhead without failure. Precise. Okay. Okay. We'll come back. There are many other verses. 325:25, very famous. And then there is Sushusho Shraddhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. So these are the verses where it is speaking, Prabhupada is giving the comment. And the verse itself is speaking that one is directly associating and connecting with the Supreme Lord through the process of hearing and glorification of the Lord. Okay. We'll come to continuation. At least cover some of the verses. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Okay. And all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, although non-different from him, are emanations from the Supreme. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from the great and learned Sukdev Goswami about the different activities of such incarnations, so that the incarnations of the Lord might be confirmed by his activities in these authoritative scriptures. Maharaj Parikshit was not to be carried away by the sentiment of the common man to accept the incarnation of the Lord very cheaply. Instead, he wished to accept the incarnation. Okay, we have read this. To hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly. And the association with the Lord directly means purification from material contamination. We have already discussed this point in the previous canto. In the first canto, Prabhupada has already discussed this. Narnam sadharano dharma savishesha sayadrisha Shreninam Rajarishinam cha Dharma Krechreshu Jivatam Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliation of human beings, as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social orders, including the administrative, royal order, and the religious principles, and for one who may be in distress. Everything is encompassing. Generally, what is the common religious affiliation, as well as the specific occupational duties, classification of the social order, including the administrative, the Kshatriyas, and the religious principles for one who may be in distress. The common religion of all classes of human beings, regardless of whosoever and whatsoever one may be, is devotional service. Save pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshati. Even the animals may be included in devotional service to the Lord. And the best example is said by Sri Vajarangi ji. Wow. Prabhupada is presenting Hanuman ji. The best example is by Sri Vajaranga ji, or Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Sri Ram. As we have already discussed, even the aborigines and the cannibals can also be engaged in devotional service of the Lord if they happen to be under the guidance of a genuine devotee of the Lord. In the Skanda Puran, there is a narration that the hunter in the jungle became the most enlightened devotee of the Lord by the guidance of Narad Muni. Who is he? Which hunter? Yes, Sonika?
Prabhuji, Valmiki ji.
No. There is Padma Puran, Skanda Puran. Yes, Ravinder?
Prabhuji,
Valmiki was not a
Murugari.
hunter. Wait a minute. Valmiki was not a hunter. What was he? Valmiki was not a hunter. He was a dacoit. He was not a hunter. He was a dacoit. Yes, Ravinder?
Prabhuji, Murugari.
Yes, Mrigari. Chaitanya Charitamrita also talks about it. It is Mrigari, who became the most enlightened devotee of the Lord by the guidance of Sri Narad Muni. Therefore, devotional service to the Lord can be equally shared by every living being. Religious affiliation in terms of different countries and cultural circumstances is obviously not the common religion of the human being. Rather, the basic principle is devotional service. Even if a particular type of religious principle does not recognize the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the followers still have to obey the disciplinary principles laid down by a particular leader. Such a leader of the religious sect is never the supreme leader, because such a circumstantial leader comes to the position of leadership after undergoing some penance. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not, however, require to be under disciplinary actions to become leader. So we see in the activities of Lord Krishna, the occupational duties of the caste and order of society, following the principles of livelihood, also depend on the principle of devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the person can achieve the highest perfection of life simply by awarding the result of his occupational duty unto the devotional service of the Lord. Which verse is this? The Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that a person can achieve the highest perfection of life simply by awarding the result of his occupational duty unto the devotional service of the Lord. Very, very important verse. So please kindly share with me what is this verse. Now, what is the understanding of this verse? बोलिए। यस, दर्शन को।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, यत् करोसि यत् अश्नासि यत्।
नो, प्लीज हियर अटेंटिवली व्हाट वी आर स्पीकिंग। It says in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated the person can achieve the highest perfection of life simply by avoiding the result of his occupational duty unto the devotional service of the Lord. There the Lord is desiring that whatever you do, you take it, make it an offering. Yes, Sonika?
Mm. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have seen the verse from the book.
No problem. It is open book.
Prabhuji, is it
It is open book forum, no problem. What is important is one should have understanding and one should have
it
reference.
is
Yeah.
1846 Prabhuji, yata pravattir bhutam yena
Yes.
sarvam idam tatam.
Yes, very good. 45th and 46th both. स्वे स्वे कर्माणि अभिरता samsiddhim labate. Na, right? It's talking about samsiddhim. How to attain perfection. Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tashunu. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. And how this can be done? This is the 46th verse. That by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all being and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work, offering it as a devotional service and achieving perfection. Prabhupada says in the purport that one should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one has his duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. That is recommended in this verse. Yes. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesh, the master of the senses. And by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna should be worshipped. If one thinks always in this way in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham aham samuddharta. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. Yes. This is the 18.46 and 47. गौरांगी कुछ समझ में आ रहा है? 18.46 and 47. जो अपना कान एकदम उसके अंदर ले आ रही है, सुन लिया? हरे कृष्णा. Yes. So this is what we have to do by whatever occupation we are or in whatever way we are engaged. We should do it as an offering and the worship to the Lord. How? By offering the results, not trying to avail or enjoy the results separately. This is the great art of work. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Second chapter, Krishna speaks about yoga and karma, which is kaushalam. Okay. So I will stop here. So we covered few verses where you just see the depth of the inquisitiveness in the heart of Maharaj Parikshit. How many questions and what type of questions he is inquiring. Hare Krishna. Now, what about us? Is there any genuine question? Any inquiry? Any inquiry, Gaurangi? कुछ पूछना है? No inquiry. Nothing. Nothing registers in our heart. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Okay, this coming Saturday is Ekadashi. Okay. So we are thinking of assembling at Dayāśīl Prabhu and Ramya Mataji's place in the morning. And we try to chant some extra rounds. And those who want to join can join us online. Okay. So you organize that. Ramya, you are hearing?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So you will be back on 14th, na?
Yes.
So we will have this mantra session on 15th. Starting possibly at least from 8 a.m. in the morning till 12 in the afternoon. So at least 4 hours of continuous chanting. And those we will be chanting our rounds in the early mornings also. But 8 to 12. Okay. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki